Cool.
We is on, and we're gonna do this without video presentation or whatever. We're just gonna go like boom. You know what I'm saying? So
I know what you're
with
saying.
without further ado, let's do this.
This is Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast, a binge watcher's guide to streaming movies, TV series, and stuff. Here are your hosts, Graham and Jocelyn.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kicking and Streaming Podcast. My name is Graham, and with me today is, of course, the absolutely fantastic Jojo. Yeah.
How to do?
Jojo, we're good.
I get applause. Yay! I'm gonna clap along for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, so I believe that before we get started, we can't ignore the fact that we've been out for a couple of weeks, and it was not something that we planned. But the fact of the matter is, when you podcast week in and week out, you run the risk of running into burnout, and we don't want ever to do this in a soulless manner. In a way that it will seem as though we're just winging it. So at the point, we decided let's take a break for a week, and then the subsequent week we're like we're not quite ready yet to come back. So let's take another week, and I believe that we've gotten quite a few things situated, Jojo, right?
Yes.
And so we are ready to resume our podcasting. We hope you haven't. We would like to think that you missed us, but we hope that you haven't forgotten us.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. And so, in that respect, we are back, and we're happy to be here. We're happy that you are still here. Jojo, how you been?
I've been fantabulous.
Fantabulous is a thing. We've been trying to make it a thing since 2003.
I'm gonna have to face it. It's never gonna happen, but that's okay.
Yeah, you know what? No, don't lose faith like that, Jojo. Hey, it's just a matter of persistence. Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yes, and keep plugging on, which is all I.
Plugging along.
Just plugging along like a mule.
Like a mule. All right, so today we have decided to bring you our list of binge-watchable content. As you know, this program is all about what you can binge watch, especially on streaming platforms. We do TV from here, one day or another. We do cable or whatever you want to call it. But the fact is, we are all about the binge-watchable content. If you can stream it, so much better. So it's summertime. Some of you will have some time off. Some of you will be on vacation, and some of you are still working from home, so there's a chance that you might need to do some binge watching. So in that context, we bring you a list of binge watchable content. Jojo, how big of a list do you have?
I have 10 movies and TV series. I can cut it down if we need to, but I came up with 10.
No, man, we're not going to cut down anything because I did come up with 10. My hope, though, is that you don't.
We don't have exactly the same 10.
We don't have exactly the same 10. Because you know what? I'm going to be laughing my butt off if that happens.
I really enjoy our compilation shows when we do this kind of stuff. I enjoy these anyway, but I also love them when we don't really get to talk to each other beforehand. So we're both surprised as fuck when the other one comes out with something and we're like, oh, that was on my list too. Or it's really fun.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I don't know how you've got yours numbered, but here's what we're going to do. I am going to let you start with your number 10, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay.
right? So you do 10, I do my 10, then we go back and forth like this. How about
Okay.
that?
That sounds good. Mine are totally random. I don't really have them ranked in order of anything whatsoever. So,
So here's what we're going to do again.
mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is JoJo's number 10. Yeah. All right.
So number 10 for me is a series that I just finished. It's streaming on Netflix, and it is a brand new series. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And it's Sweet Tooth, and it is distinctly odd. It is a post-apocalyptic road story combined with fantasy and a whole lot of interesting elements. It has a fantastic cast. It has a sweet, lovely little story, and despite some elements, I think it's something that you could definitely watch with kiddos, depending on the maturity rate. And so, Sweet Tooth, it's fun.
Yeah, this is what I've been meaning to start watching, JoJo, but I haven't gotten to it because there's quite a bit going on.
Yeah.
But is this something like I kind of like where it's going? Like I've seen a little bit of the like when you stop on something in on Netflix and it all of a sudden starts playing the trailer for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen some of that, and I kind of like it. There's something about it that I'm like, "Hmm." But I don't know if I'm ready because sometimes I fear that I don't want to watch a lot of things at the same time. Sometimes I fear that I want to dedicate time to the one thing that I'm watching instead of jumping from one series to another. And so this one seems like one of those that I have to be completely dedicated to it in order to be able to enjoy it. And um, how many episodes are we talking about here?
Let's see. Let me double check. I can't remember if it's either 10 or 13. It's 10 episodes. Um, and it is they run in like they're less than an hour long each one.
Hmm.
And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this. I didn't really expect to enjoy it as much as I did. It's because it's odd.
It
There's no
is.
getting around it. It's odd.
It's kind of weird.
It's based on a comic book series, loosely based from what I understand. I have not read the comic book series, but from what I understand, it's loosely based on it. And it's it is sweet for a post-apocalyptic series, which are typically very bleak. This one is not. It has a very hopeful tone to it, and somehow they've managed to make that not seem saccharine or jarring. I don't really know how they've managed to do that, but they have. And I think a lot of that comes down to the cast. Nanzo Ananzi, whose name I've probably just butchered, but I'm a huge fan of him. He's brilliant in this, and so is Christian Convery, who plays the young character, the little boy in it, and as well as Stefania Levy Owen, who plays the character of Bear. Those three they have a great chemistry together, and I think that they make this show. I think they make this show.
All right. So this one is definitely on my list. So kudos on that one, and I'm glad that we don't have the same thing as of yet. So for me is going to be my number 10 on my list is going to be Power Book 3 Raising Canaan. So if you're not familiar with Power, that was a series which ended, I believe, about a year ago, and that series was on Stars Network. It's one of the most successful series out there in the last, say, in the last 10 years. And what made it very successful is that it is a story of all kinds of redemption in downward spiral of criminal life and trying to get out of that life. Um, one of the honorable mentions of this show for me is the fact that it was originally executive produced by Curtis Jackson, 50 Cents. And when the show came out, it was like, what the hell does, 50 Cent know about, spending money on the show? Like, it's gonna be one of those that will be very popular and then it will fail. The show was around for, I believe, about 6 or 7 seasons, and it was great. But not only that, 50 Cent took part in the show and he played the character of Kanan. And it turns out that he was uh, a hell of an actor. Like the dude, the dude played a character that everybody hated, but you could not help but praise him for how good he was with this character. And so after Power ended, the original series, we discovered that they had decided to do a sort of like a multiverse type of thing with Power. So you have Power Book 1, Power Book 2, and Power Book 3. And so Power Book 2 was last year, and it had 2 seasons, and it's about the young what happens next to young Tariq St. Patrick, who is the son of the main character Ghost after Ghost dies. And then Power Book 3 coming now is gonna go back to the early 1990s and present the making of Kanan, who Kanan, having been the villain on Power originally to a certain extent, he too also is credited as the mentor to Ghost and his best friend Tommy. It sounds to a certain extent as though in the end he gets betrayed by them, which is why he became the bad guy. But now we get to see at least who was Kanan and how he encountered these two people, two young ones that he mentored, and this whole thing created. So Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, and I think it's going to be fantastic. It is starring Makai Curtis, Omar Epps, Patina Miller, Haley Kilgore, Lovie Simone, London Brown, Malcolm Mays, Shanley Caswell. And it premieres on July 18th on Stars. So Power Book Raising Canaan is my number 10. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds
Yo.
Yay. Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh no, okay. Oh no.
Yay. Encore.
All right, that's enough now. So what you got for me, Jojo, on your number 9?
So I have it's a TV series. It originally aired on Bravo. But it's available now on Netflix. It's called Imposters, and it aired for 2 seasons in 2017 and 2018. And it's a sort of a comedy drama, different kind of series. It's light. It's definitely very bingeable. There's 10 episodes a season, and it is the story of con artists, and specifically a certain set of con artists who target young, rich men to take all their money away from them. And it kind of turns into a they're the young men kind of band together to try to bring down these con artists, and everything goes horribly wrong and awry and in hilarious ways. The cast is pretty funny. I've enjoyed them a lot, and Can't say that it's the most wonderful, marvelous show on earth that you're ever gonna watch, but for summer watching to just throw something on and get a good laugh and look at some pretty people too, Imposters. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, but it was originally on Bravo.
Originally on Bravo, yes.
I
Originally
didn't
aired on
know Bravo did like series like that. I thought everything on Bravo was supposed to be like reality shows and shit.
I don't know, and maybe that's why this only lasted 2 seasons.
People are like, "But this is not reality."
Right, this is not what I
Hmm.
so I don't know, I came across it on Netflix, and it was one of those where it started playing, like, when you come up on Netflix, and I was like, "This kinda looks interesting," and the lead actress seems like I kinda like the vibe she's got going on here. So I started it, and, I ended up binging the whole thing, and, it's very, very, very funny.
Lord, leave it to Jojo to binge watch a show from Bravo that actually happens to be a series. It's not a real housewife or something. Whenever they do, Real Housewives of, I don't know, Matthews and shit, I'm gonna call you up.
I was in a store yesterday, maybe the day before, that had like custom mugs or whatever, and it was like Real Housewives of Mecklenburg County.
Oh my Lord.
I was like, okay.
I might Real Housewives of Mac. Let's not make fun of our county. After all, we're the most liberal county in freaking in Charlotte.
True.
All right, then let's move on. I'm going to go into my number 9 now.
Okay.
And this is one show that I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, it hasn't started yet. I don't know what to make of it, but there's only one reason why I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, because this actor has never let me down in pretty much anything. This show is called Mr. Corman, and it is written and directed and starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Mr. Corman follows Josh Corman, whose lifelong dream of becoming a musician didn't exactly work out. Now, he finds himself teaching 5th grade. Also, his fiancée has just moved out, and his BFF is now his roommate. Throughout the show, Josh struggles with his identity and self-doubt as he tries to find himself. So, like I said, Joseph Gordon-Levitt to me is one of the best actors out here, no doubt.
And I'm a fan, so
Yeah, we've gushed over Joe Gordon-Levitt a lot because we like the kid.
Yeah.
Well, he's a 30-plus-year-old dude, so it's not a kid. But
we kind of think of him as a kid, I think maybe because of 30 Rock and not 30 Rock, Third Rock from the Sun.
yeah, and not only that, but like he looks like an eternal kid.
He does.
Even when he grows a
got the
beard, he's like
baby face.
And when you halfway through your 40s, anybody who's in their 30s to you is a damn kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Even those in their early 40s, we're like,
yes,
you all right, kiddo? Like, motherfucker, you only like 5 years older than me.
So true, though. So true.
So yeah, Mr. Coleman seems to be a good one. It premieres on Apple TV on August 6th. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm gonna watch at least one episode. But I'm almost sure that I'm gonna like it.
Yeah. I look forward to that one too, because I'm a fan of his and his project that he had going for a while. That's names escaped me, but he had a cool little film project going on for a while that was involving, the public and everything. So it was kind of neat. So yeah, he's very talented.
He's dope, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like Joe Gordon-Levitt, and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right then. You're next, Jojo. You is next.
So next I have it's a documentary. and it is an older documentary. It's from 2008, and it is available on Amazon Prime. And it's kind of keeping in with the summer theme. It's called Four Seasons Lodge, and it is about a group of some of the last survivors of the Holocaust. And this piece of property they bought in upstate New York, and how it became a haven for them. They went into and bought it together. It became a haven for them in the summertime. They would go there to escape the heat from New York City, and just huge sense of community and love and caring, and the fact that they had all gone through this terrible thing together. Um, and something beautiful came out of the terrible thing.
Do you know? Do
Um,
you know? Before you continue, do you know
yeah.
that there is a bunch of references about that particular place in upstate New York? If you watch the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Okay. Okay.
because they always go for the summer to that place in upstate New York, and I never knew that it was actually a real place. I thought it was a fictional place created throughout the show, but now that you're talking about it, it makes perfect sense because I'm like, why upstate New York? And like that seems kind of weird, but I didn't know that place actually existed because it was some sort of resort, and a
Yes.
lot of the fun things that happens in Midge, the Mrs. Maisel, they call her Midge, so in her life, happened there, and some of the funniest situations, that what's the name of the dude that plays Mrs. Maisel's father? uh,
Um,
Tony Shalhoub.
yes.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub is absolutely great in this show, and some of the funniest situations happened with him while vacationing there. So I just wanted to bring that up because now it makes perfect sense when you talk about this documentary.
Well, no, that's cool because I did not realize that it had ties to Mrs. Maisel. So that's a very cool thing that they incorporated a real place in the show. So that's very neat. But yeah, it's a really lovely documentary. Um, it's sort of it kind of takes you on the journey of them deciding to buy this when they were young and making a place of refuge. And then this was sort of towards the end in 2008 of the generation that had bought this and set it up. So it is sort of sad, bittersweet, maybe, in seeing some of that, but it's also very lovely, and I think it's a great story, about human spirit and how we can make good things out of bad things. But it's called Four Seasons Lodge. It is available on Amazon Prime and has ties to the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So
There you go, man. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's dope, man. I likes that. You know. So, what show we do now? Are we moving on to what? That was your number what, Jojo?
uh, 7, I think.
No, it's not.
No. Okay.
Shut up. Okay, it must have been your number 8. No.
It was my number. Yeah, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left to talk about. So
Okay.
yeah.
So here's my number 8, and I'm not gonna talk a lot about it because I already gushed over it. I think the last episode we did, I took a big chunk of the episode to talk about it, and it is Amazon Prime's Solos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and read you the synopsis of it and then move on. But you have to watch this show because it is one of the dopest things I've seen. And I'm a frustrated actor myself. Like, I, never got, what do you say? I never moved on from the fact that I I I didn't go into acting as a professional because starvation was on the table by doing that if you lived in a Caribbean country and you're not rich. So monologues are like huge to me because I think actors act, you can always you can always feed off anybody who's on stage with you. But when it's only you have to do it all, and that's when you show your chops. And Solos has demonstrated that there are some actors in the world that they're not to be messed with. And some of them, we've always thought of them as great actors, but some of them we don't even know that well. And only with Solos, we will fall into account as to how fucking marvelous these actors are. And so this 7-part anthology series explores what it means to be human and all the strange, beautiful, hilarious, and heartbreaking moments that come with it. Solos spans the present and future as it grapples with time travel, AI, the farthest reaches of the universe, and so much more. The show is very character driven as we see how these characters have different experiences, but life is what connects them all. Solos is has already premiered. It premiered on May 21st, and it's on Amazon Prime. It is you will find here Anthony Mackie, Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, Anne Hathaway, Uzo Aduba, Dan Stevens, Constance Wu, Nicole Behari, and so many more. Solos is absolutely great, Jojo. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but it is superb.
I have not finished it yet, but I have been watching it, and the only reason I didn't put it on my list is because I knew it was going to be on yours.
You know that, yeah.
So yes, fabulous show, and I'm working my way through it, but it's as Graham said, watch it.
I will say though that there is a chance that it's not something you might want to binge watch in one sitting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's not boring or anything like that, but it is very emotionally spending, if you will.
Yeah.
And because those actors are alone and it's a monologue and you're watching on the other side, you do feel more involved in the situation, more involved in, because it almost feels as though somebody's having a conversation with you, but if you talk back, they can't hear you. So that's the kind of thing it is. But it is. I mean, I don't know how they managed to come up with something like that on TV, but it is absolutely fantastic. So you should watch it. All right. I'm just saying. All right, Jojo, on to your number 7, if you would, please.
So I am going with and we may have mentioned this before in some of our shows, but I'm gonna toss it out there again as something to definitely binge watch. It's Criminal UK, and it's got 2 seasons, and it is a procedural cop drama, if you will, but it's essentially just the interview room for criminals. So there's a fabulous cast. The guest star, if you will, every episode is great, and I think for summer viewing, it's 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 something that you can definitely binge watch and get into. The episodes are not very long, so there's not a huge time commitment with it. And each episode has something very interesting to say. And in the sense of that it's an interview room. You do get to have an actor have a very not solo performance, but a very uh, s- it's mostly the camera will mostly be on the main actor for whatever the episode is. So David Tennant has been on it. Haley, forgot her last name. Haley has been on it, and it's just Kit Harington has been on it. It's it's a very good show to binge, and if you enjoy, sort of true crime or that sort of thing, it could be the show for you to kind of introduce you to the wonders of British television.
Yeah, man. British television is a different menu, and it might take you a moment to get used to it. A lot of folks, I think, have had, as you've mentioned it a lot of times before, that British TV has been in the United States for forever through PBS.
Yes.
But again, not a lot of people with watch PBS or whatever, and all of a sudden, because of streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and people are starting to discover a lot more stuff that they didn't know were British. A lot of people don't realize that so many of American shows that we only knew as American shows were actually originated in Britain, and we are merely doing an American version of them. And that's vice versa. There's a lot of things that Britain has adopted from America. But I'm saying that some of the best content that we've seen by American actors, scripted by American writers, are ideas that originated in Britain. And so, yeah, British TV is something else, and you will always hear me and Jojo talk about British TV in the highest of light, because I do love it, and Jojo, I know you do.
I think I forgot to say that this one is on Netflix, so should be pretty readily available to anybody who's interested in it. It's right there. I think almost all of us have Netflix now. So
By the way, speaking of British TV, you you should try and get BritBox, because this
yes,
is one more streaming app that you'll not regret having if
agreed,
you're looking for great content.
agreed, and not a huge amount to add to your streaming bill. If you've got the extra, I think $5 or $7 a month, something like that, highly
Yeah.
recommend it. There's so much content on there, and so much good content on there as well.
And I feel like I have to say we're not getting paid by by
We aren't.
BritBox.
We really are not.
You know that's I think because we've been very vocal about how much we love BritBox,
Yes,
and it feels like sometimes it might sound like there's no way these motherfuckers ain't getting paid for that. You know what I'm saying? We're not.
we're not.
You know,
They
I
are
mean,
not paying us. We are just genuinely love BritBox.
if BritBox wants to contact us and whatever, so we're
Yeah,
cool.
if they want to cut us a check for every time we've mentioned their name, then cool.
Yeah, that should be quite a bit of money right there, but no.
It should.
So let me present to you my number 7 on the list, Jojo.
Hmm.
It is called Only Murders in the Building. And
Oh,
I'm
nice.
looking forward to this one. So before I tell you what it's all about, let me tell you. Well, it was created by Steve Martin and John Hoffman, right?
Oh my.
And it is starred by Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, Aaron Dominguez, Amy Ryan, and Nathan Lane.
Oh my God. How have I not heard of this?
Yes. Yeah, Jojo. So I'm talking about like something that it's either going to be great or it's gonna be an absolute weird ass piece of shite.
Yeah,
But
there's no way it can be. It won't be mediocre. It's either going to be fabulous or terrible. But oh my
exactly.
goodness, yeah, I don't know how I missed that one, but that's awesome.
Well, it hasn't started yet. It starts on August 31st, and it's on Hulu. And by the way, I've finally managed to get Hulu without commercials, and so I'm sort of like enjoying Hulu a little bit more now. You know, uh, so I just think that Hulu with commercial as an option should not exist at all.
Yeah, I agree because
Yeah,
it's turned me off of it. Like I'm not.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you come out of the gate and tell me pay me $12 and you won't see commercials, I'm like I'm cool with that. I don't have it or I have it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the notion of like, hey, for $6.99 you get Hulu and you can have it. You just have to watch a couple of commercials, and then keep the whole idea of no commercials almost as a secret. It's sort of like a I don't know, like it's kind of a weird trick to play to the human mind, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Not cool. But
Yeah,
I'm glad that it's an option to not have the commercials. So
it is. It is an option, and I finally kind of like, you know what, enough, because I've bad-mouthed Hulu a lot, and every now and then I keep finding shit that I really like on Hulu, and I'm like, if only there wasn't any commercial. And my son was like, you can get it without commercials, right? I'm like, you little shite.
how dare you keep this from me?
Yeah.
You're for the will.
So yes, this series, Only Murders in the Building, it says it follows three strangers, Charles, Oliver, and Mabel, who share an obsession with true crime. Suddenly, the trio finds themselves wrapped in a true crime mystery of their own. So this is what we're dealing with. It premieres on August 31st on Hulu. I am going to watch this thing, binge it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, that sounds And I
Yeah.
love Steve Martin, so like
Steve Martin, Martin Short,
why
Nathan Lane.
I thought Nathan Lane was retired for some reason.
Nah, Nathan Lane can't retire. Nathan Lane is like the Bob Barker of TV. And just drop dead in front of it. By the way, Bob Barker is still around, man.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
is.
Regis is gone. But Barker's still like, yeah, man, I'm right here.
It's all that good karma he built up from keep your pets spayed and neutered or something.
Yeah, man, and me too, and all of his hostesses and shit.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good karma. I don't think so.
that's probably bad, but yeah, I don't know. Depends on possibly what karma he's paying into. Okay, we'll get into philosophical. I'll shut up now.
Well, I mean, the karma could be like, well, now your ass gonna live forever.
Yeah, that's true. You're
And
gonna
it's
see all
gonna
the people
hurt
who
you
love
to-
die.
It's gonna hurt you to take a piss every day.
You're gonna have to get up 45 times every night to pee.
Yeah, and you're gonna
For
wear
2
a
drops?
diaper for 45 years of your life. You're gonna die at 125. You're like, Lord, kill me. That's karma too. Like, the whole idea of living forever sounds great until you think about it, and you're like, oh shit, that's awful.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here though.
I'm not sure either. I love our talks. We end up in so many weird places and we don't know how we got there. And I love it. It makes me really happy. I hope it makes our viewers happy too, because I mean, like,
Hopefully, man, because like this is crazy. I seriously don't know how we got here. Anyway, by the way, let me just make a quick stop. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Twitch, tonight we are having an absolutely fantabulous conversation on Clubhouse. Kicking and Streaming has its own club on Clubhouse. And tonight, our friends of Tucker Brothers, or fellow podcasters, are going to join us on Clubhouse to have a very cool conversation about In the Heights. The movie premiered yesterday, both on cinema and on HBO Max. It was the very first oeuvre of Lin-Manuel Miranda, started off Broadway and was soon taken to Broadway. And on its first year, it got nominated for 13 bloody Tony Awards, and it won one. But it's not you mama's, your daddy's, musical. So it was weird that it became so popular. And it also shows, how special of a playwright Lin Manuel Miranda is. So after that, the rest is history. So because you know who he is and what he's done with Hamilton and everything. So that will be tonight. Jojo, myself, and our friends of Tucker Brothers, and also I think we'll be joined by my very good friend Catalina Schindler, who will also have a say on this. But yeah, that was a little stop that we made here. Jojo, what you got for me on your number 7?
So I am going with a movie from 2012. It is actually one that I saw in the movie theater way back when. It's available on. I
What?
know, right? I'm an old timer here. It's available on Amazon Prime, and it is a Wes Anderson movie, and it is called Moonrise Kingdom. And this is another sort of delightfully strange movie, kind of maybe a little bit in the vein of Sweet Tooth, without the apocalypse involved. But it is about a young man and young woman who fall in love and decide to run away together. And by young man and young woman, I don't believe they're over the age of 8. They're quite young. So they run away into the woods and decide to build their own kingdom. And it's Wes Anderson, so it's going to be a little tilted. But I thoroughly enjoyed this when it was in the movie theater. I love the fact that it's available streaming. It is a very sweet movie. It's certainly a summertime movie. It takes place mostly outside during the summer. And it has a really great cast. It's got Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Tilda Swinton, Jason Schwartzman, and it's a kind of the tilted humor and but sort of gentle, not really poking fun, but at anybody's expense, but just sort of showing the ridiculousness of people. And it's a fun little movie. It's Moonrise Kingdom, available on Amazon Prime.
It almost sounds as if you could change the title of it to Hollywood Weirdos Get Together and Make a Movie.
Pretty
Like
much.
seriously, all of the weird people are in there. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
I think the only one that could come in and just sort of like be the what you call the top of the cake, whatever is that young Americans be
Icing on the
saying.
cake.
Yeah. The icing on the cake is if they brought in John Malkovich.
I don't think he's in it. I don't know. I don't think he's in it. I don't remember him being in it.
People don't seem to think so, but Bruce Willis is actually weird as motherfucker, man. This dude
Yes.
is really weird.
Yes, he is.
Not in a religious way or whatever. He's just like weird dude.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Then Frances McDormand, we've talked about her. You know, she does Frances McDormand. Like
She does.
I don't know.
Yep. And
She's
Tilda
always playing
Swinton.
Frances McDormand.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Who are you? I'm an actor. But I play Frances McDormand all the time. And by the way, I am Frances McDormand.
And I'm damn good at it.
Right. So, movie. Oh, that's just the first movie of the day, isn't it?
I think so.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
Yeah, you done did it, Jojo. But here's the thing. You want to hear my number 6?
Yes, I do.
Check this out. This one premieres on Netflix on August 27th, and it is called The Chair. All right. It is created and written by Amanda Peet. The Chair follows Dr. Ji Yoon Kim, who has just taken a job as the chair of the English department at Pembroke University. With her new role, Ji Yoon must deal with all of the challenges that come with not only being the first woman to chair the department, but also one of the few staff members of color at the university. And you may ask me, who is going to be playing Dr. Ji Yoon Kim? It is none other than the absolutely fabulous Sandra. Oh, man, Sandra. Oh,
She's so good. She's
whoa.
so good.
No, seriously, you had me at Sandra. Oh, the moment I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know what this show, whatever, but Sandra. Oh, nah, nah. In fact, I have to confess to something here. Before Grey's Anatomy turns to shit, I used to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I felt like it was only because Sandra Oh was in it. Uh,
She's wonderful. She's a fantastic actress and just all around just class act.
yeah,
And
man. Yeah.
I have to say my mind went somewhere else entirely when you said The Chair. I was kind of scared it was going to be a show like about the electric chair or something. So I'm
Yo,
glad
you
it
are
didn't go that way.
bloody morbid, man. What's wrong with you, Joe?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. If I knew what
Lord,
was wrong with me, I I could get my meds right.
Lord. Look at that child, Lord. Look at that child. She said she thought it was something about the electric. You know what? Let me hear your number 6. Maybe it's gonna be the chair, the electric one.
So I actually have I'm kind of sensing a theme that I didn't plan on with my picks for the summertime here. So sorry, folks, but this one is it's another post-apocalyptic storyline, and it's also kind of a road story. It,
I'm sorry, what?
what?
Another
What?
post-apocalyptic one.
Road story. So a journey, because Sweet Tooth is a road story.
Right, right.
So this one
Yeah,
is
I see
another.
the theme too. Like it's not
Yeah,
subtle at all. It's actually not subtle.
it's not subtle at all, and I don't know how I missed it. So sorry. I'm apparently crazier than I thought I was, but anyway.
Right. All right.
So this is a movie, another movie. This one is on Netflix. It was from 2018 and it's called Prospect. And this one is one that I think if you see it come up on Netflix, and this certainly happened in my case because it does come up with the little preview on Netflix, you're going to be like, I'm not watching that. What the hell is that? Um, and I won't blame you a bit because, like I said, it happened to me. But I ended up watching this because um, Pedro Pascal is in it, and he is such a good actor that I wanted to see some more of his work. I enjoy what he does in The Mandalorian. I know that he was in Game of Thrones, which I have not watched, but I just wanted to see him in what I thought was going to be another context.
Mhm.
It is slightly the same context as The Mandalorian in that he sort of takes a young person under his wing and saves them from a bad situation. But it's different in that this is set in space. It's set in the future. It's set in space, and it is about people who go to other planets and prospect, like you would prospect for gold or that sort of thing. But it's the future, so there's other things that are more valuable than gold. And so this young girl and her father get themselves in a very sticky situation. And Pedro Pascal is sort of, his character is sort of the cause and the salvation of this situation. And I actually ended up enjoying this movie much more than I expected to. Um, it's it's a very it's very lyrical. The writing in it is very the way that people speak is very, I don't want to say grandiose, but it's almost like old English, like Shakespearean in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I found that to be kind of an interesting take on the post-apocalyptic world. And I really enjoyed it, and I think for a summer movie, it's something that, yeah, I think, people would enjoy, and it's a movie, not a huge amount of time to add, and if you enjoyed The Mandalorian, if you're a fan of that, um, then I think that you will enjoy this movie too.
I think I can see what you're saying in that it's a movie that is, well into the future, but yet people speak like, you know what we consider the very, very, very early past
Yes.
of today. So that would be weird to see.
Yeah.
That in itself makes it uh, already interesting to me. So I'll take a look. Where is it at?
It is available on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yes.
Mm. Okay, well, Netflix has like, come on. I
They
don't
have a
even know.
lot.
I don't know how to deal with Netflix anymore. Like, I'm supposed to be a specialist at the whole thing of finding things to binge watch, and I'll go on Netflix and like, yeah, I'm going to ignore la 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 until I find.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'm going to move on to my number 5. Right? Uh, is that where we are, Jojo? Yeah,
I have 4 left to talk about, so I guess I just did my 6.
yeah,
That's fine.
Jojo.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This show is called. So I don't know if that means something, but the show I'm going to talk about premieres on July 16th on Apple TV, and it's called Schmigadoon. Exactly, Schmigadoon. Schmigadoon is executive produced by Lorne Michaels, the the boss at
Yes.
SNL.
Yes.
This new musical comedy parodies iconic musicals we all know and love. Cecily Strong and Keegan Michael Key play a couple on a backpacking trip who enter a magical town where everyone acts like they're in a 1940s musical. Shortly after arriving, they realize they can't leave this town until they find true love. So the premise sounds really cray cray, and because I'm a dude who loves musicals, I'm in. Hopefully, hopefully, you know, hopefully it's not boring because I remember. I don't know if you saw this, Jojo, but about I want to say maybe 5 years ago, there was a musical type of thing on TV called Gallivant.
Yes, I was actually gonna just mention that and ask you if you'd watched it and enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the first 3 episodes, and then after that, I lost interest. I think like there was a lot of good musical numbers, but no story to tell. To be honest, it was like
Okay.
it turned a little bit into as if you were watching uh, something with slapstick comedies and musical, and so it kind of got weird to me.
Yeah.
But Schmigadoon Sounds great. And I'm going to tell you the people that are on it. I've already said Cicely Strong, Keegan Michael Key, Alan Cumming, Fred Armisen, Christine Chenoweth, Aaron Tveit, Dove Cameron, Ariana DeBose, Jaime Camille, Jane Krakowski, Anne Harada, and a bunch more of other people. So this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I hope it is as good as I anticipate it's going to be.
It's a fascinating premise, and not one that you see very often. So yeah, that's cool.
So Schmigadoon is going to be on Apple TV Plus, and it's July 16 premiering. Jojo,
Awesome.
back to you, Jojo.
Back to me. Okay. So I'm gonna go to another movie, and again, these are in no order whatsoever. But so this one is an Amazon original, and it premiered not too long ago. It's not very old, but it's called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, and this is again falling in with my theme of oddness, but it's about two people who are caught in a time loop together. And it's kind of like if you've seen the movie Groundhog Day. This one young man wakes up one day and he is living the same day over and over and over again, and no explanation for it, no idea why. He tries using the time to make someone fall in love with him because he thinks that must be the key, because that was the key in Groundhog Day and he's seen the movie. That doesn't seem to work out for him. He eventually finds someone else who is stuck in the same time loop. And so together they try to find the way out of the loop. She is sort of a scientist type. He is an artist, and together they make a team of friendship to try to find a logical way out of a illogical situation. And it is a very, very lovely little movie. Um, it is about finding the tiny perfect thing in each day, and that there is something very small that will happen every day that if we just took the time to look around us, that we could find and just be in that moment. And it's not woo woo or airy fairy or hippy dippy or anything like that. It's just a very sweet little movie about friendship, about the importance of recognizing that something doesn't have to be a big event to be important. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a big movie. It's a small, quiet movie, but it is on Amazon Prime. It is an original of theirs, and it's called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things.
That sounds like a fantastic premise. I was listening to you, going about it, and I'm like, I have to find this thing and watch it right away. I love it. I love it. I like the notion that he did the first thing he knew about time loop because that's what he saw in the movie
Yes.
type of thing, and I'm like,
Yes.
I want to see where that goes. That's great. I'm gonna go on ahead and watch it.
I highly recommend it. It is, and as I said, it's a very small movie. It's not a big bombastic. I don't think there's a single quote unquote famous person in the cast, but it's just lovely.
I like that you said bombastic, because now all of a sudden all I can think of is Mr. Lover Lover. You go by Mr. Bombastic. Shaggy. All right, don't let me do that, Jojo, because I'll be doing weird shit. So don't let me.
Yeah, weird shit is good. I like weird shit, as evidenced by my list today. So
Yeah, man. You've been coming out of the net of the left field forever since we started this one right here.
Yes. Yeah.
But hey, nah, it's all good, man. I that's that most of the um contents that have I've discovered that I'm like, yo, I like this. Is because you and I have talked about it, which is how we ended up doing a podcast about this,
Yeah.
you know, because I'd like to. Well, I tend to think that the shit that I watch is not that weird, but it kind of is, which is what created this affinity between us, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but I think you actually take the prize home with kind of weird stuff, though. But one of the things that I'm eternally grateful for with you is that um I discovered what we do in the shadows because of you. And oh my bloody God. She's like, yo, I think it was actually the very first summer binge watch list we did.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
And I went and watched this and I'm like, I must have said, what the fuck is this? At least 21 times while watching it, but I couldn't stop. And I couldn't, in the beginning, decide whether it was great or not. But then, after watching it, over time, I kept thinking this might well be the greatest fucking thing I ever watched, dude. Like seriously. It's one of those things that time will tell, but it just like, yeah, I think it is, you know. So yeah, this is fantastic. Let me go on ahead and move on. So my next one is we did an episode about it, and we actually geeked out quite a bit on it. It's Lupin Part 2.
Yes.
We were very, very enamored by the first iteration of Lupin.
Yes.
And just if you don't know what we're talking about, we're actually talking about Lupin on Netflix. I just refuse to say Lupin or Lupin. It's Lupin. For me.
Lupin sounds like, like loopy. Like I'm looping.
Lupin.
I'm
Yeah.
looping today. I'm just looping.
I'm Lupin, man. So I will always pronounce it as Lupin. And yeah, so the part 2 of Lupin actually premiered yesterday. Was yesterday the 11th? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So Friday the 11th of June, it premiered. And as you will remember, Jojo, you and I talked about this is still part of the first part. I think Netflix just split this shit because they
Yes.
didn't have faith that this show was going to take off in the US. And they're like, let's just throw 5 episodes and then pretend that it was the first part or the first season.
I agree.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I'm glad because I actually was thinking of putting this on the list, and then I was like, I have a feeling Graham's going to put it on the list. So I was right.
So far, so
But-
good.
So I'm super excited about the return of this because the first part, as Netflix has chosen to call it, is some of the best television I've seen in a very long time. Some of the most entertaining television I've seen in a very long time. So I'm excited to see what happens.
And it's crazy. I think I said this when we did the episode. It's like I actually chose to watch this in French.
Yes.
Because I felt like it was better in French than with the dubbed version. But you can, you have the 2 options. You have actually 3 options. If you do speak or understand French, watch it in French. Most of it is Parisian French, so it's the easier kind. It just has a bit of slang in it. So, but it's very elementary French. to be honest with you. Um, so if you know French and you're a bit rusty on it, you can still watch it and you will be able to follow along. The other option, of course, is to watch it in French and read the subtitles, which I know that most of y'all don't like to do. And obviously, the third option is to just switch to the dubbed English doubling version of it. But you have all of these options, but you don't stop. Do not um, stop watching Lupin. And if you haven't seen Lupin the Part One, which is I think 5 episodes, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
It was only 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Go watch it, and
Yeah.
then you at least now you have the advantage of binge watching the entire thing, because if you haven't seen the first part, watch it and then just keep move on straight into the second part. I'm looking forward to watching it this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yes,
excited
ma'am.
for it too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So, what you got for me, Jojo?
So next I have a series that is it started several years ago on CBS of all places, and it was renewed for a second season, and the CBS kept pushing off the second season. Um, and so the second season has just premiered on Paramount Plus. So I got sort of interested in it because there was a lot of people were excited about this second series coming out, and I was like, what is it like? This is kind of mean, but this is a CBS show. Why are you so excited about it? But then I watched it and I understand completely, because for a CBS show, and actually for any kind of show, but especially for something that was on broadcast television, this show is one, it's very, very good. Two, I would say it's quite controversial. And three, it's completely bonkers. And the show I'm talking about is Evil. It is on Netflix. The first season is currently on Netflix. The second season just started streaming on Paramount Plus. And it stars Mike Coulter. It stars Katja Herbers. It stars Asif Mandeev. And it is about the Catholic Church and their pursuit of evil in the context of modern day, but using medieval practices. It's very strange. But again, very, very controversial, I would think, in the sense of it does show quite a bit of mental illness. It does delve very much into suicide. There is a lot of meat to this show that from the outside kind of looks like it would just be a kind of a goofy horror thing that is, they just threw in the Catholic Church bit for just to make people interested. But it actually addresses some of the issues that are currently happening in the Catholic Church and have been happening in the Catholic Church. And I was surprised by, one, how thoroughly entertaining this show is, but two, also how thoughtful it is. I've not quite seen anything like it on television before, and especially not broadcast TV. So it's 13 episodes. It is kind of a commitment, but I was really surprised by the quality of this series.
Are you under the impression that Paramount might just give it continuity, or they just threw it in there because whatever?
I don't know. I could not find any reason as to why it changed from CBS to Paramount. I don't. Nobody seems to understand why that happened or what happened. I don't know if CBS got cold feet, in the sense of, we're putting something on the air that's pretty. I mean, it's it can get pretty intense at times because we are talking about people who are harming themselves and suicide and mental illness and the issues with child abuse in the Catholic Church. So I don't know if CBS just got cold feet and was like, you know what, we're not going to do this, and they passed it off to Paramount. I don't know what happened, but I got interested in it because of the buzz about that, and so I just was like, oh, I'll throw on the first episode and see what it's like, and then like I said, I was very surprised by the quality of it.
But so it should be important for people to know that it could be triggering, wasn't it?
Yes, it absolutely could be triggering. There is a warning at each episode that comes up, but I definitely pay attention to that. It it is a good show, and I feel that the way it handles a lot of that is pretty. It's not sensational, if that makes sense. Like it's very they're trying to be respectful of the issues that they're talking about. And Luke Coulter, of course, is great in it. I'm sorry, Mike Coulter. I'm getting him confused with his character that he's played so many times. And Katja Herbers is not an actress that I'm familiar with before, but she is very, very good in this. She's actually Dutch. And then we have, and I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but Asif Mandavi, and of course
Steve Manvi, yeah, he used to be
yes,
on the Daily Show.
yes, he was on the Daily Show.
Asif
So
Manvi, yes.
yes, so he was on the Daily Show. So it's fun seeing him in this show too, because I don't know, I expect him to be the character that he was on the Daily Show, which
Yeah.
he's not. So it's a very interesting TV series, and again, not anything I've really ever seen on broadcast television before. It is available now on Netflix and in the second season, which I have not watched the second season because I don't have Paramount Plus. But
Yeah, Mike Coulter is an absolutely great actor, and to some extent, I'm actually glad that Luke Cage on Netflix kind of got canceled, and he didn't become typecast with just the dude that did Luke Cage, because
yeah,
he is absolutely fantastic
yeah,
actor. He
yeah.
is.
In this series, he plays a man who is on the journey to joining the priesthood,
Oh, yeah.
and
I know that journey.
it's very, very interesting and very it's just fascinating to me. But yeah, definitely a trigger warning on this one. But if you can go with it, then I do recommend it. It's different.
Fabulous. Jojo, fabulous. All right, so my next one is one I've also gushed about quite a bit in the past few episodes. So I'm gonna go over it again. It's Hacks on HBO Max. And again, if you go at least 3 episodes back on this podcast, you will see how much I've had to say about it. That was when it just started. So here's the synopsis. Hacks follows Deborah Vance, a legendary Las Vegas comedian who wants to appeal to a younger audience. So Deborah's agent sends Ava, a young writer who can help spice up Deborah's act. Uh, it's impossible to stress enough how great Jean Smart is in this show, and her comedic timing is on full display. In this brilliant comedy, this show was created by the writers of from Broad City. So you have Jean Smart, Hannah Einbender, Carl Clemens Hopkins, who I personally call him LeBron James' twin brother or something, Caitlin Olsen, and some more folks. But seriously, Hacks is brilliant. And Jojo, this is one of those shows that very rarely I start watching something after 8 p.m. that my wife doesn't just fall asleep a few minutes into it, and she's been watching it with me, and she actually enjoys it. You know, um, it's a great show. I don't know if you've taken a peek at it, but it is dope as hell, Jojo. It is.
It was actually next on my list. It wasn't going to be the next thing I talked about.
Snap! We finally got the.
Yes, so I completely agree. Hacks is fabulous. It's on HBO, HBO Plus or Max or whatever it's called, HBO Max, and it's just it's so good. Jean Smart, as you said, is she like the scene where she and I'm not giving anything away, but the scene where she chases after one of the characters in her Rolls Royce and like runs her off the road to come up with a better joke is like one of my favorite moments in television I've seen in a very long time. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You look, man. And here's the crazy thing. For a long time, I thought no one uh could come up with a show about a female comedian after the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because by all account, the fabulous Mrs. Maisel or the marvelous Mrs. Maisel is an absolutely fantastic show. Um, but if you ask me right now to pick between Mrs. Maisel and well, Rachel Brosnahan as Mrs. Maisel and Jean Smart as Deborah Vance, I'm like, there you go, man. Jean Smart is just like so absolutely fabulous. This character is is somebody you know, is somebody you
yes,
know of,
yes,
but at the same time, she's not the greatest person, but you like her.
yes,
Like she the her meanness to everyone around her is is incredible, and you know that she would be that way towards you too, but you still kind of like her. In a
yes,
way, it's almost like, yeah, she's just like that. Like, what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
can't, like, almost impossible to take things personal with her. I don't know if that's how you think of her, but like for me, even when she's being mean, I would be if it were me, I would be like, it's just Deborah being Deborah. Like it's nothing that I can take personal. There's no way I can think of it as anything but, yeah, Deborah's been Deborah. You know.
yeah. I think there's sometimes people that you run across like that in real life, if you will. That
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that's just the way they are, and but she is so good at it, and
Art is good.
I they really capture a little slice of Vegas life with that. So, I have a very soft spot in my heart for Vegas.
Yeah.
So I love that. And there's another, like I think it's the first episode, maybe the second, where the young writer says to her, which is something that everybody always says to people, "Oh, do you ever get used to the heat?" And just yes.
Yeah, I mean,
It
shoot.
was and it was the way I'm telling it is ridiculous, but watching it on screen was just so perfect because it just her level of exasperation. Like, I have been asked this
Yep.
495 times.
Yep.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and you'll see. You're gonna live here for a few days. So yeah, you'll see. Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. That question, because being from the Caribbean, you get asked that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just the level of frustration was like, ah, I know that. I know that
yes,
feeling.
yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. All right. Well, Jojo, I'm sorry that I went on that, but like,
No,
you got one for me?
I do. I do. I have one last movie.
Okay.
And it's uh it's available on Netflix. And this one is from 2013. I don't think it got a lot of buzz. I don't remember there being a lot of talk about it when it came out. I saw it later. I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't a lot of buzz about it because it's from the people who created Love Actually and Notting Hill and Four Weddings and a Funeral and all those movies, those kind of movies. This one is a little bit different. It's called About Time, and it stars I can't say his name. It's Domhnall Gleeson, Rachel McAdams, and Bill Nye. And it is about a young man who discovers that he can time travel, and it is something genetic to the males in his family. And they can time travel for a very short amount of time, certain amount of time, and go back in time and change things. And this is it's a very sweet movie. It's a very it's an odd little movie. Again, going with my unintentional theme, but
Yeah.
it's I was so charmed by this movie and how much because Bill Nye gives a beautiful performance in this, and he is the father to the young man. He plays the father to the young man who discovers that he can time travel and kind of imparts the wisdom of the ages to him and the different wisdom of the generations of men that this has happened to. And there's such a lovely chemistry between himself and Mr. Gleason, that you really do believe that they're father and son, and you really do believe that there is such a loving connection there, and also the sort of um, conflict that is there too between a parent and the child. Um, Another reason that I I really loved this movie is that the character of the father reminded me a bit of my father, in that he used his ability to time travel to be able to read all the books. So he traveled in time so that he could go back in time and read books and read books and then be able to go back to, his regular job and his regular life and have read 20
That's
20 books.
awesome. That's
So I I really love this movie. It's a good-hearted movie. It's a sweet movie. It does take place mostly in the summertime, so kind of fits in with the
in the
summer theme.
summertime.
I
Dun, dun,
wanna
dun, dun, dun,
wa- da- da-
dun.
da- 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 da. But yeah, it's called About Time. It's on Netflix. It's from 2013, and it's just a lovely little movie.
Nice. I think I likes it. I don't know when I'm gonna watch this one though, but it's gonna be some like towards the end of the summer. But I likes it. I like being Bill Nye. That dude Gleason. I know who he is, but I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what I've seen him on, but I know who he is, and he puts on a very good performance.
Yes.
So yeah, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one, Jojo, because
Okay.
YouTube might be cutting off us soon.
YouTube's
Yeah,
gonna be like, shut up, turn out
yeah.
the lights.
YouTube is like, yeah, you got 90 minutes, son. Yeah, but here's the thing. My next one is one that I've talked about, and I cannot recommend that one enough. It is Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso's second season is going to start on July 23rd on Apple TV Plus. I actually think that this series is too good for Apple TV Plus. It should be more on a less exclusive streaming platform, because Apple TV Plus is not everybody's cup of tea. But if you don't have Apple TV Plus and you want to get it, a reason you might want to get it is because of Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, you may have seen Jason Sudeikis winning a couple of nominations in the past, in the Golden Globes and in SAG Awards or something like that. Jason Sudeikis has demonstrated that he is a consummated actor, and his acting is on point, his writing is on point, and he is the only one who could do what he did with Ted Lasso. Just to give you an idea, Ted Lasso is a series about a American football, semi-professional American football coach who gets called up to manage an actual professional soccer team in England, and not a team that is in the lower tier of the leagues, but rather in the actual league. Dude has never managed soccer, doesn't have any experience managing soccer, and he goes there and he takes the damn job. Hilarity ensues, and you should see why. Um, but you don't have to be into soccer to like Ted Lasso, because this is about Jason Sudeikis. Absolutely. So Ted Lasso, again, season 2 will premiere July 23rd. So you can go ahead and watch the entire first season. I think it's no more than 8 episodes, and they're like 30 minutes each. They're great. And then you can go ahead and be ready for season 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
You and Penny, arguably some of the most important, not arguably, you're some of the most important people in my life, and you both adore this show. And she's
Penny
actually
likes it.
she's restarted it, the
Really?
first season, to prepare for the second season. She loves the show. So
I knew why. There was a reason I liked Penny. There's a reason I like Penny. Penny's a smart cookie.
well, yeah, she's my friend. So
I like how you take credit there.
I only like smart cookies. So
appreciate it. Jojo, what you got? Yeah. Oh, you done?
that was the end for me. That was my last one.
All right. So the last one I have, and this one is the end for me too, is Loki. And Loki actually started on June 9th. For some reason, Disney Plus decided to put this out on Wednesday nights or on Wednesdays, but Tom Hiddleston, plays this absolutely fantastic character on all of the Avengers and Thor, in the Thor movies. Loki is Thor's brother, and he's the god of mischief or whatever. And he has his own series. I saw episode 1, and it seems like it's becoming a thing with Disney Plus, in that the first episode of their new series don't tell you much about what you should know or what is going to happen next. They just actually, this one was, if you're familiar with this terminology, this one was a bottle episode. It's weird that the very first episode of a series is the bottle episode, but it is. Like, it takes place literally in the same place. So there's not a lot going on, but you should watch it, because one of the things that Marvel movies and series do a lot is that whenever you're watching something, you can always go back to it for reference in the future. A lot of clues are dropped within the dialogue, within what you see. It might not say anything to you at the moment, but then episode 5 in, you're like, oh, so that's why on episode 1 they talked about this and that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it is important to watch episode 1, even though it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But Loki is out there. You should watch it. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome.
Right. So I think we're coming to that point of calling it a day, Jojo. So there you have it. We have this bunch of a list of absolutely fantastic TV for you to watch. Jojo threw in a couple of movies. I've given you some series. Jojo has given you some series, and we want to wish you a happy summer because last summer was a shitty one, to be
Yes.
honest.
Yes, it was.
And this one feels like we will need some very, very potent Ray-Ban sunglasses to come out of this fucking cave and see the sunlight.
Agreed. Agreed.
I am looking forward to what's to come this summer. And um, you know, it's good to be where we are, and hopefully we continue to make progress. And you know, by the end of this year, at least we've reached a point where we can say we're safe. We've reached herd immunity, and we can be around each other, vaccinated or not.
Yeah.
But you know, at least you have this. You have. We hope that we've brought you some things that you can watch and enjoy. And we're gonna go with Jojo, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we done did it. To steal a phrase.
Yeah, we done. We done. Um, Obviously, we want you to follow us on social media if you haven't done so. If you've just stumbled upon this show, we've been around for a while now, so will find us on Instagram, Twitter, even on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and also on Pinterest. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter as Mr. Puzzetta. That's MrPuzzetta. Right? And this is it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this, to just close out. Jojo, any last words?
Be safe, everybody, and have fun.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast. If you found value in our content, please subscribe and share. We would also be delighted to hear what you think of this podcast. So please rate us by writing a quick review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all major social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Join the conversation happening today on our Facebook group.
All right.